And John and Don, the adjudicators, are working very hard trying to decide which band is going to get the recording session. Anyway, let's make noise for Limericks band, the Hitchers.
Well, this week I'm listening back to a Limerick band who made some brilliant indie music in the 1990s and beyond. During my own time on national radio, I was always so proud of some of the music coming out of Limerick. Whether it was Tuesday Blue, Bill Whelan, Reform, Dennis Allen, The Groove or The Cranberries, I made sure to get them played on national radio. The Hitchers, formed in 1989, were one of my favourites.
The Hitchers started out in the late 80s when the lads were still in secondary school, and they self-released singles on cassette. They were perennial Battle of the Bands winners and filled venues like Cruises and the Savoy.
Eric Fitzgerald, the Hitchers guitarist and vocalist, and now working with the Limerick Post.
By the time I joined the band in the 90s, they were a three-piece. We got to sign a deal with Murgatroyd indie label run by Pierce Gilmore, who recorded the early Cranberries recordings. We recorded with Pierce right here in Limerick in Zurich Studios. We did our debut album, It's All Fun and Games Till Someone Loses an Eye.
This year, Leeds United have been promoted back to the Premier League. And I'm reminded of the Gordon Strachan song.
It started out with an idea for a song with a short name. Basically, a lot of the Hitchers songs hitherto had really long names, so I wanted to write one with a really short name, just to be different.
Niall Quinn, the Hitchers drummer and vocalist.
I was a big fan of The Wedding Present, and they had a song called Shatner. So Shatner was similar to Strachan, and I said I'd work with that. And then in April 92, Leeds won the title.
It was a season in which Leeds surpassed most expectations, perhaps even their own and those of their fans. But in the end, they were seen to deserve all they achieved. And Leeds, both the team and the city that supports it, can justly be proud.
And the very next day, on the Monday, with a blinding hangover, I sat down and I wrote Strachan.
Niall Quinn, who, interesting, was a member of the Cranberry Sauce with Noel and Mike Hogan and Fergal Lawler, before he left and Dolores O'Riordan joined, and they became the Cranberries. Gordon Strachan was some player.
Feisty, pugnacious, a ginger Jack Russell snapping at 1,000 heels. For Aberdeen, for Scotland, for Manchester United, for Leeds. Goal scorer, ball winner. Player of the season at 34, still going strong at the top level as 40 approached. Titles and cups wherever he went. Never give up, never say die. Get stuck in, lead from the front. What me, ref? A winner, not a quitter. All 5'5" of him. Don't forget the half.
The whole thing about singing songs about footballers was horribly uncool if you were sort of an indie rock band. And I ended up kind of asking myself, what is the song about? What were you trying to say when you wrote it originally? And the line just came out, she waited for the match to start a fight up with me. And from there, the rest of it just spilled out onto the page. It had a structure and the song made sense. And instead of just being this boy talking to a girl narrative, it became what I think I've seen Wikipedia called a kitchen sink opera, where you've got the voices of the protagonists that are suddenly just sort of covered over by the voice of the match commentator. Basically a story of a couple of people who probably once upon a time loved each other very much, and now they just communicate through bickering. And we're all there sort of like being gooseberries on this, and worse again, we don't even care. We're kind of straining over their shoulders to see the match on telly.
So here it is, one of my favourite Limerick songs, recorded here in the city and released on the Murgatroyd label. And keep an ear out because it probably will get a renaissance on music radio in the UK if Leeds start scoring goals this season. The Hitchers and Strachan.
She waited for the match to start a fight up with me. She said, "What's that you're watching? It's a program about art." She said, "A program about art." I said, "A program about art." And then the greatest midfield artist of them all walked out onto the park. The crowd were on their feet and they whistled and they cheered for the tiny wee Scotsman with the copper-coloured hair. She said, "You just don't care, you never listen, you know. You get shown to Wetherell, and Wetherell to Durigo, Durigo knocks it onto Fairclough, Fairclough looks for speed. Now she's ranting like a lunatic, I'm switching off that telly. Look at me while I'm talking to you. To Strachan now, puts Kelly through. There's one man pulling all the strings, and 22, though damn well who. The air begins to thicken. Inside the box, Strachan has stricken. The gap unfilled, he makes the kill. 1-0. She waited for the match to start a fight up with me.
it across the face of the goal.
What did Leeds think of it? So far as I know, Leeds have never heard it, or nobody at Leeds United has heard it. I know lots of Leeds United supporters who really like it, and for that matter, I know lots of supporters of all the other clubs who like it as well. Strachan himself heard it. I think our label sent it to him. He got back. They arranged for me to have a phone call with him, that was quite a buzz. He was genuinely humbled. Very, very nice man. He couldn't remember ever scoring a hat-trick for Leeds, and I reminded him he'd actually scored 2, though neither of them are the game in the song. The game in the song's actually made up. That team actually only played together a handful of times.
Delighted I found that song again. One of Limerick's finest bands, with big memories. Who remembers them? The early 90s. The Hitchers and Strachan. I'm Micky Mac. Join me again next week as we look back on the stories behind some of the other favourite songs in my record collection.